All right, so today we're back out at the shop and fill you in on what's been going on so far. So first thing this morning, Trevor came out and popped out all of this bracing that's on the underside of the hood here. As you can see, all these little dots, that's where all of that factory body panel glue or whatever you want to call it would be at. And all he had to do was took that propane torch, heated up like a putty knife, and you're able to get it underneath the bracing and get that stuff to separate. So it said it didn't come off too bad, and now the hood's a wee bit lighter. And this morning, Trevor is working on mounting up the seat belt latches, I guess you'd say. So he's getting those mounted up so that the seats will actually be safe and doing their job. And while he's doing that, if you recall yesterday, we had an issue with the factory air dog wiring harness. We weren't getting power to the pump, and at first we thought it was a relay issue, ended up not being that. So what we ended up doing was swapping in a new harness and got the pump back running, and temporarily we just ran it on the outside of the truck just to try it out, and it fixed the problem. So today I'm gonna try to tidy this up a little bit, get everything re-ran, done neat, wires trimmed to the length they need to be and everything, and get the pump buttoned up. After we finish that up, then we'll most likely move on to getting the hood mounted up and hood stack piping ran through the hood and all those goodies. So anyways, we'll get to knocking some of this out and we'll touch base here shortly. All right, so we're getting ready to mark the hood stack. So as you can see, we close the hood down as far as we can get it. And then if you look underneath, see, you can see where it contacts the hood. You can either reach through the hood gap here or go through the fender well if you need to. And we're gonna trace the outline of it so we can get the hood back open. We'll center it up and then drill the hole. As you can see, there goes the hole we marked. Oh, shaky hand there. But all that you really need is one good edge. And what we're gonna do is go in, this is 4-inch hood stack. So we got a 4-inch hole saw that we're gonna center up with. And then the stack that's actually gonna be coming out of the hood is a 5-inch. So once we get centered up with this and we've got the pilot hole in, we can swap out to the 5-inch saw. And we have plenty of clearance in case you're off just a little bit. All right, so we hit a little bit of a hold up here. This truck has been a nightmare ever since, well, I originally got it and then Trevor has it now. And the wiring is a freaking disaster. It originally was under the hood. There was a rat's nest of wires about the size of a basketball that was back behind where the battery is, or was originally. And we got all that cleaned up. And then when we got to working on this, under the dash, there's a rat's nest, as you can see. So Trevor spent a good while this morning tracing out and cutting out crap that is no longer needed. They had some kind of turbo timer or remote start or something on this truck. But all that aside, now we, as you can see, we're modifying this 6-liter harness to make it work with this regular cab Cummins. So we about got that buttoned up, and
6-liter pump also.
Yeah, 6-liter pump as well. So anyways, we'll have the fuel pump wrapped up here in a bit, and then we'll move on to the next part. As you saw, the got some hood stack clearance and done here. Looks pretty good going through there. So anyways, may try to heat wrap this here shortly, and as I said, just keep knocking out the list. As you can see, we're getting pretty close. Trevor's list is this list right here, so We're still gonna modify the lockup switch. Seats are done. Gonna gut the bed, but that's not an immediate worry. The AC is done. Fans are done and wired up. Didn't mention that, but we have those done and working. The fender support's cut out. We've still got to fix the turbo drain. There's a little bit of a leak there. Got the hood rat stack access hole done and the hood reduction. Then we gotta load the new tunes. So anyways, we'll get back to piddling around.
Oh yeah, I see. The groove in there. And then it's on that too.
Come on. There it is.
Oh yeah, on the top side of it. God, this thing won't freaking focus. Yeah, you can see it there. So yeah, that would be why she was leaking.
Like you said, I don't know if we didn't get it torqued good or right the first. We followed the freaking torque sequence like it should be though. So I don't know what happened, but that would be why it was leaking. Now let's get the old Larson goodies loaded on her. Dang, boy, HP tuners is slow. And in the meantime, figured we'll go ahead and get the doors put on. As you can see, Trevor already got this side on while I was on the phone. Issue we ran into is that the truck wouldn't take the tune. When it got right to the end, it kept getting a controller unlocker timed out, I believe is what the code was. So I messaged Larson and he got back to me, said to unplug the lift pump fuse. Maybe that was drawing too much power. We have it on a jump box, or not a jump box, but a charger while we're trying to do this because I know HP tuners is really finicky. But we pulled that fuse out and we'll see if it takes the tune this time. So we'll see what happens. Not yet. Oh my God. Everything. Oh, look at the side of the bed. Oh yeah, that'll do it.
My blanket ain't working no more.
No, you're... All right, guys, so we're just finishing up for the day. Overall, pretty successful day here in the shop. We buttoned up a few final things that needed to be done to get the truck driving. We got the doors thrown back on, fans wired up. As I said earlier, we had an issue with the wiring harness on the air dog, so we replaced that and got it wired up. Also, after we redid the harness on the air dog, we decided to go ahead and take a couple hours and I'll throw a picture up of what this truck looked like originally. On the driver's side of the engine bay, there was a god-awful rat's nest of wires. A lot of it wasn't even being used. Some of it was. Some of it was just about literally 10 feet too long, and they just bundled it up in a ball and shoved in behind the battery. Well, as we got doing more stuff to the truck and we dropped the dash out of the way, we realized the rat's nest of wires that were behind the dash, as you probably saw in some of the previous videos. So it took a few hours today actually to just try to go through some of the wiring, and as you saw, like I said in earlier clips, there was a ton of wires that came out that honestly I don't know what they were for. But we got rid of all that and all the functions are still working in the truck, so apparently we didn't hurt anything too bad. Also, just continuing on with the weight reduction, Trevor went ahead and yesterday he had cut the supports loose from under the hood. Today he went ahead and like I said, took a propane torch, little butane torch, the little blue bottles, heated up like a putty knife, and was able to scrape off all of that glue that's on the bottom side that holds it together. So he was able to clean all that off, and we got the hood back on, and it is extremely light now. So I don't know if it's any lighter than a fiberglass hood or how close it is to fiberglass weight, but it is a ton lighter than the factory hood is. So save some weight there. The only downside is with the hood strut still on it, you can see it's bowing up the center of the hood. It's right much pressure on it, seeing as there's no support there now. So most likely the struts will end up coming out, and what we're gonna do is just get some kind of hood prop for when the hood is open. We got the new tunes loaded up from Fire Pump. Got to give a huge shout out to Larson over there at Fire Pump. As I said, I'm no expert at all or anywhere near close when it comes to HP tuners. Actually, I've only messed with it one time before, and that was over a year ago. So they had sent us a revision for Trevor's truck, and when I went to load it up, it would go through the whole loading process, and at the end I would get up to 100%, it would be fully loaded, it would go through like a verification process or something, and then it would fail and it had an error code. I had made sure beforehand that I had a battery charger hooked up to it. I didn't have any of the accessories in the truck running, and the truck still would not load the tune. So I didn't know what exactly was going on. I reached out to Larson. He got back to me right away, and he told me a few things to check. What it ended up being was that the lift pump was still running. I hadn't taken that into consideration, and so we pulled the fuse for the lift pump, and what do you know, tune loaded right up. So we loaded the tune onto the lowest file, the lowest setting. It's what should be close to a 670 tune. Started the truck up, truck fired right up. We had a fuel leak that was there originally, and what we ended up finding was there was a damaged feed tube. I don't know if we didn't have something sealed up all the way or what the deal was, but anyways, it got damaged. So we swapped it out with one that, yet again, we stole out of Nathan's truck, so we'll have to get him a replacement for that. But anyways, threw it all together, truck fired up, no leaking. Did have a little bit of a rough idle. As you saw in the videos, it was loping pretty hard, especially at idle. You put it in gear, it would clean up a little bit. I don't know if it was a tuning issue or if maybe it was some air in the lines, because as it ran for a while, it seemed to clear up a little bit. But regardless, once we get it to the track, we'll get some videos and some data logs over to Larson or Levon or whoever's going to be revising it and let them look it over. anyways, we took it out for a little bit of a joyride, kind of celebratory drive that we got it back running. And as soon as we pulled out of the driveway, it won't even half throttle. The truck got sideways, so it's definitely making some steam. We took it easy on it a little ways down the road, rolled into the throttle a couple times, did a real light launch. It was, boost gauge wasn't reading. I don't know what we have going on there, but it was up at right around 2,000 RPM, so it was a little bit light. But anyways, we launched and the truck started pulling pretty good. We pulled right on through third gear and lock up and let out. We coasted about a mile up the road to one of my buddy's houses. And when we pulled in, jumped out of the truck, we smelled something. We looked and we were leaking trans fluid. So cut the truck off immediately, got looking, and somehow through the whole process, we had cut something loose that was holding up one of our FSD transmission lines, and it got rubbing on the drive shaft. So rubbed a hole in the line. Same thing actually I had happened to the dad bod a while back. So you would have thought that I would have remembered to check that, but it got overlooked. So anyways, we got Trevor's truck. Luckily, he already had his trailer over here planning on taking the truck home today. So went ahead, took it over to Austin's house, picked up the truck, and he's going to take it home and get a new line on it. He's got to throw the Lexan in the windows. And other than that, really, it's ready to go make a hit at the track. So we're going to get it out to the track first opportunity we get and do some data logs with it and get it over to Larson, try to get some revisions. And unless something terrible happens, you'll see the dad bod and the Titanic or whatever we end up naming Trevor's truck at Rudy's. So anyways, thank you guys again for watching. Also, like I said, huge shout out to Larson for getting back to me on that. It was, right away, and helped me get everything taken care of. So huge shout out to those guys. But anyways, thank you guys again, and see y'all in the next one.